Hello there. Welcome to Inside Scoop. I'm Paula Rizzo. I love to travel. I love to travel for fun, for business, for whatever, for leisure. It's the best thing about it for me is the planning. I love it. I love to do a little bit of planning because you get to kind of go on the vacation or go on the trip a little bit beforehand and lead up to it. Takes a lot of pressure off once you get there because you know you've done a lot of the legwork ahead of time. You found the restaurants you want to go to and all of those things. But today I'm going to stick to business trips specifically because I've been traveling a little bit for work. I'm actually not in my usual space right now. I'm traveling, and I picked up a couple of ideas that I thought I would share with you because we can all be a little bit more efficient, especially when you're far from home. I know a lot about lists. I love them. We're going to talk about them a lot because I've written two books about lists. Listful Thinking and Listful Living. And I'm a speaker actually right now. I spoke at a conference for LinkedIn called Talent Connect 2022. And this was one of the first business trips I've taken since the pandemic happened. I took another one, but it was not, for speaking engagements. So it's a little bit different. You need different things on your packing list for these things. And I was a little bit rusty, I have to admit. So I'm going to tell you some of the insights that I found on this trip. But first, I have a little freebie for you. It is my checklist for your trips. If you go to paularizzo.com/travel, I have a couple of little insider tips there for you. And I'm a LinkedIn learning instructor, and I have several courses there to help you in all areas of your life. And one of them is about organizing your remote office for maximum productivity. Having your remote setup is really important and very, very helpful for you to be able to take that setup wherever you go. If you're on a business trip, of course, you'll be able to just replicate your home setup wherever you are. If you find that this is something that you think a friend or colleague will be interested in, please share the video, tag them below, leave questions throughout the video if you're watching the replay. And let's get right to it. Let's talk about packing lists. Okay, this seems really obvious, is that you should have a packing list. If you do not have a packing list when you're going on a trip, I would implore you to absolutely do that and, run through all of the things that you need, your medicines, your toiletries, things you need day to day. Of course, for a business trip, it's a little bit different. You're going to be adding some things in there like, maybe your webcam and, some cords that you need to make sure that all of your attachments work for your computer. So you have a million things that you could be bringing, but you want to make sure you don't leave things behind. So another thing that you should be doing during the trip is keeping an ongoing notes for next time list. Okay, because in the moment when you're on this trip, things are going to pop up. You're going to say, oh, you know what? I packed 6 sweaters and I really only needed 3. Like, note to self that I don't need to go so crazy with all the things. I didn't use half of these things that I packed. Or I'm running out of face wash. I should refill the face wash next time I get home. Leave yourself a little memo, put it in your phone, leave yourself a little memo for when you get home to remind you so that when you get on the next trip, you're not like, oh, I forgot to replace this and I wish that I had it. You should have reminded yourself. So that next time list is really, really helpful for you to get into the groove when you're doing this a lot more, because you'll be doing it more often, hopefully, now that the world is reopened again. The schedule. Schedule is really, really important. So whether you're attending a conference or a series of meetings, look through the schedule ahead of time. This helps you to plan out your travel from place to place, how long you'll be places, and also what you need to pack, right? What you need to wear. Where are you going to be? Are you going to be in a conference room where you're going to need a sweater because it's usually cold in those types of places? So thinking through that and making that list at the same time as your packing list is really helpful. A lot of times, expense reports come up, right? You're working maybe for somebody else or for your company, and you have to keep track of those expenses. So I have a couple of tricks for this. I always keep a couple of little plastic bags in my suitcase at all times, like little ones, the little zip top ones, because you just never know. You might have some, extra gluten-free cake that you really love that you're like, you know what, I need to take this with me on the plane. Guess what? You have a little Ziploc, so you can do that. Or you can keep your receipts in there, more importantly, right? So I keep all of my receipts in a little Ziploc bag, and then that way I have everything there. But what I also do is I put a note right on it, right when I'm doing the paying, and I put the date on the back, and I put what it's for, right? Lunch with Allie, got it. Okay, so now I know exactly what it's for. There's an app that I started using on another business trip that I took recently, and it was called Shoeboxed, and it allows you to scan all of your receipts. And I did that each day. After every day, I did it so that I would have them, and it was really helpful because then when I got back, I was able to, put that expense report together very quickly and get paid very quickly. That's the more important part, right? So definitely check those things out because I think it'll be helpful for you whether you're going to do it, in a digital way or the old school way of having a little plastic bag. And then the last list that I'm going to talk about is the follow up list. This is really important for conferences, when you're meeting a lot of people and a lot of stuff is going on, you're in the moment, maybe you're in a different time zone and you can be overwhelmed. So as I'm going through a conference specifically, I have a list that I have ongoing. I use Google Docs for this. You can handwrite it if you want to, but it's a bunch of follow-ups, right? So follow-ups as in, who do I want to follow up? Who did I meet at this conference and what do I want to talk to them about? And then also other follow ups. What are some of the things that now I want to implement into my life or into my world or research for my company or for whatever it is? And that way I have that list. So when I go home, I don't have to then formulate it and be like, what did I learn? Who did I meet? Who was that person? I've already done it in the moment. So future you will be very happy that you did this. It's a really excellent move, if I do say so myself. So I hope these things were helpful for you. If you have questions, please leave them in the chat boxes below. I want to tell you about that freebie that I have for you again. It is my travel checklist. If you go to paularizzo.com/travel, you can grab it there. And if you have any questions, put them below. I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for watching.